You can start right away. Okay, that's a very, very lousy first pick. I won't explain every day why I'm not liking blue that much. So I believe the Stonehold Cloak to be a good pick. And I'm curious whether we should pick Divine Intervention or Dimensional Portal. So here's the thing. The Dimensional Portal in a vacuum is obviously the better card. Not insanely better, but better. But yeah, you know what I think about blue. And that's correct. So I think blue pretty much is bad. So here we might pick Divine Intervention over the Dimensional Portal as it is. It's a very close decision because Divine Intervention is nearly a break-even card. And Dimensional Portal is obviously a positive card. So what we could also do is we could also pick the Dimensional Portal and say, hey, maybe we are getting good blue stuff. That's a maybe. Thing is, we won't do that. It's nonsense. So let's not. The packs are really getting us today. These are all bad cards. Let's take this. Combat Training is a card which is playable if you also play Sven. That's a hero, a red hero. Bad cards. Wow. Only, I mean, this is not good. I just picked that because the rest is so... Are you kidding me? We are basically playing with 4 packs. I'm not, it's not a joke. We are playing with 4 packs as it stands. Wow. Wow. Annihilation. Oh. Okay, wow. We do have Annihilation. We already have a hero. I think we are getting pushed in blue here. Oh my god. Okay. Oh yeah. Just short words to this pack here. Yeah. So if you take a look, the following picks are possible. It's not messy, by the way. So there's a Bronze Legionnaire. The Bronze Legionnaire is a very good card. Yeah, without doubt. So Bronze Legionnaire is great. The Time of Triumph is, yeah, you might have guessed it. It's also very good. There's a big distinction between those two. He's extremely good in the early game, and this is extremely good in the late game. Next question, do we have late game? Not exactly yet. So it wouldn't be bad to pick one to assure a completely closed down late game. So that's definitely strong. We do have Annihilation. Annihilation is a card. It's bombastic. It's really good. Power level wise, probably a little bit stronger than Time of Triumph, or on the same power level, but probably a little bit stronger. Maybe same. Yeah. So that's also very good. And then we have the Tyler Estate Agent Sensor. And the Tyler Estate Sensor is also very good. Yeah. Probably this is on a power level of Bronze Legionnaire, Time of Triumph, and Annihilation. As silly as it might sound. Okay. Because it's super powerful. Just compare this with a trend. So there's a trend in green, 2/6, gain 1 mana. Now he is leeching 1 mana. And if you have priority, if you have initiative, you can play him and you can undermine the turn of your opponent. So what I'm saying is, as you know, artifact goes in turns. So you want to play your curve. And what you can do is, you can play, you can see in which lane he only has 1 colored hero. like whatever, if he has only one green hero. And then you can keep initiative, you can put him in the green lane, and he won't be able to play his green 4 mana spell, for example, because you know he will have a lot of 4 mana green spells. So by dropping him, you can undermine that, and that's really strong as well. So what are we looking at? Well, we are looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 absolute bombastic cards. And in a vacuum, we could just say, okay, in a vacuum I would probably pick Tyler, because I think black is probably the strongest color. Bronze Legionnaire is also possible time of trial. Red is also not too bad, right? So I wouldn't mind picking this, this, or this. Usually not the Annihilation. The reason for that is because blue is not good. Yeah. So even if these 4 cards have the same power level, I would not pick an Annihilation out of the same reason I passed the Dimensional Portal before, because I don't want to go into blue. Okay. So that is this. Now we are looking at the situation where we also do have already a blue hero, which is the Venomancer. So how is the Venomancer? Well, the Venomancer is... yeah, the Venomancer is alright. As a blue hero. Well, he's so much better than Jumui is. Yeah, so Jumui is 3/8. Venomancer is only 2/6, so that's a little bit weaker, but you won't deploy him early, of course. And if Jumui survives, he's doing nothing. Well, if the Venomancer survives, he gives you one of these Venomancer wards, which will then also automatically do 2 damage, 2 piercing damage the next turn. Jumui comes with a card, the blue base hero comes with a card, 1 mana, you can convert, or you can lane manipulate something, which is not that great. And there's a Soul Venom with a Venomancer, and that's also probably not that great, but it's also not too bad. So this card is definitely better than this card. The Venomancer is obviously better than the base hero, yeah, the base blue hero. So we already do have him. I mean, what can we do? We got him. So we also don't have any good cards yet in any color. What I'm saying is super difficult. Again, the first pack was a complete brick. Like, everything is so bad. Speaking of playables, this is maybe a playable, this is a playable, this is a playable. So, honestly, I don't know. I mean, it's very difficult. I don't even know what the options are. So let's just think about it. So we could go the following. We could do this. And then we have a solid red base. We can fill with key fees if we want later. So that's not too bad. If you do this, it basically means we will definitely play red as one of our colors. Because Bronze Legionnaire is very good, Time of Triumph is very good. What are other options? Another option would be this. This might be a little bit weird because we say, hey, we definitely want to play red. And somehow we also want to play black, and maybe we also want to play green. And maybe we also have some incentivization to play blue because of the Venomancer. That's kind of weird. That doesn't add up. We could play something like this and saying, hey, red, blue. Okay, if you are gonna end up with red, blue, it's better to pick this and this, obviously, right? Red, blue is, by the way, also synergetic. Reason for that is red does have the early game heroes, blue does have the late game heroes. So a Venomancer on 1, well, it's kind of Gamblerino, because if you put Venomancer on 1, 50-50, he dies against another hero. I mean, it's not 50-50. 50-50 that he faces another hero, 40% maybe in total that he dies. So maybe it's better to play the Venomancer second, but we can also deploy him early. That's possible. It's just big gamble. Yeah, it's just a big gamble. But we could. But usually this comes in here. Now, red-blue being very synergetic, because the red early game heroes are covering the weak blue heroes. What is the problem with this configuration? Well, the problem would be, and also Time of Triumph is very synergetic with blue heroes, because blue heroes suck, and you can, with Time of Triumph, everything plays. So if you take a look at the card Time of Triumph, is a card which modifies all allies hero with the following stuff, which you basically see here. And The 4 attack are usually not playing. The reason? Well, if you give an 8 attack or 10 attack use 4 attack, he doesn't care. He still deals a lot of damage if hitting the tower. He still probably ganks most of the heroes. But if he faces a creep, well, he completely doesn't care about that. If we have a blue hero, we give him 4. And also the retaliation, of course, is the same. Against creeps, complete nonsense. And against heroes, maybe useful, but very often also just not useful. Same goes with the cleave. If you cleave, like let's say heroes spawn against each other and you cleave one hero, you get the point, right? So you will just end up overkilling a lot of stuff. Well, that's not exactly the case if you take a look at if you take a look on the blue heroes. So if you would give a time of triumph to a blue hero, well, the Venomancer has 2 attack. Maybe we can top that up with a sword to 4 attack. He can then kill normal creeps, but in the end game maybe there are bigger creeps, and then the 4 attack will definitely help him. If the heroes are facing another hero, the 4 attack will definitely help the Venomancer a lot. The retaliation will help the Venomancer a lot. The armor and the health are also playing because blue heroes are weaker. So even the health is playing, even the armor is playing, the cleave is playing. Okay, it's clear, right? And so the only drawback if we would pick this and this would be, yes, exactly, that we are kind of forced to play blue because, hey, then we got the Annihilation. And we got Jumui, so we will probably at least play blue, and usually blue is bad as a splash color, specifically if you would, for example, only go with an Annihilation here. But it would be somewhat synergetic. In a vacuum, the Annihilation is definitely stronger than the Brothel Legionaries. So this is this. Would there be something like this? We said already that this configuration is probably worse than this, because this is basically committing us to red, but this is kind of semi-committing us to red, semi-committing us to black, which is a weird result. And you already see that I don't want to... I will take a look at the chat first, but then we can definitely go. Yeah, sorry about that. It's just that I have kind of an allergy, a blue allergy, you know. So... Man, oh man. Okay. 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 Oh man. God. Why are we getting punished like this? Yeah, these 2 are very good cards as well. And we are not set in a color yet. Whatever. Yeah, not strafing run, please. I mean, it's really bad, the strafing run. Oh my God. Hey, nur Müll. Hey, okay, nur Müll. Das gibt's doch nicht. Okay, maybe one reason was also that I think after missing... I mean, we skipped the entire first pack, right? And I think after completely skipping the first pack, we really completely skipped the first pack. And I think after skipping the first pack, we also definitely know that we will need to play triple color. There's no way around playing triple color. And if you say, hey, there's no way around playing triple color, the Annihilation was probably also the better pick. Because if you say, hey, we will be forced to play triple color, and we will most definitely be forced to play triple color because we didn't get any good cards in the first pack, that basically speaks a lot for actually taking this, because it increases the chances that we go blue for sure. I mean, in this setup, I mean, okay. Oh, what a nice hero. Let's get him out. This is bad. 2. The Throw Ranger. Nein, Mann. Hey, okay. We will create the biggest garbage can on Earth here. What is the biggest garbage can on Earth? This is the biggest garbage can on Earth. Man, oh man. Okay, let's take it. Oh man. It's not the Helm of the Dominator. We don't have enough gold creation mechanics in order to justify the Helm of the Dominator. Yeah, and don't tell me that Dimensional Portal would have been good now. You're the Farseers, guys. The really Farseers. I can already see a tree over there, and yeah, I mean, nonsense. Yeah, I mean, only because we get the rare Draw Ranger now, but okay. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, mini. Ramask Blessing should be stronger than Selfish Cleric. By how much? Little bit, but definitely stronger. It's also better if you end up splashing Draw Ranger. At the moment, we end up splashing every color. That's the 4-color dream. Now, we definitely will try to avoid 4-color at any means. But if we will end up splashing green, well, then this is of course so much better than this is. It's definitely the Ramask. Keep in mind that if you already have one Ramask Blessing, these are 2 Ramask Blessings, they are synergizing with creeps. So every creep we will have will be a little bit stronger because we also play double Ramask in the deck, and yes, exactly because of the Draw Ranger. So in this regard, usually this and this, they are of roughly same strength. Probably this is a little bit stronger, but in our setup, where we know that we will definitely play Draw Ranger, but we don't have a red hero yet, maybe they are of equivalent strength. But this is a creep. You can see that here. Creep. And that's why we take this. Okay. Okay, here's the thing about the Satyr. Usually, he looks good, because he has 3/5 plus 2 attack after each combat phase. But the reality is he is probably overrated. Reason? Well, I mean, he's okay. As from the looks, it looks that he's very strong, because he starts with 3/5 and then he grows 2 every turn. But the reality is different, because we are playing 40 effect here. And because we are playing 40 effect, the 4 is the magical number. And you can see that he doesn't have 4. And as such, he cannot, usually you play him against a melee creep, and then he will need 2 turns in order to kill this melee creep, and after he killed it, he will be on 1 health. Okay. And then he will just become killed by the next melee creep. Now here's the thing. If you also play the Draw Ranger in our deck, well, actually these 3 go to 4, and suddenly we are playing 40 effect with him. So let's do that. Other than that, we do have the Favor. The Favor is synergetic with the Time of Triumph. I wouldn't advise you to play the Favor if you don't have at least, let's say, I think 3 late game cards. But what is not there is yet to become. So if there's a Thunderhide pack, I think that's common. Is it? I don't know. But I think so. And maybe we end up with double Thunderhide pack 1 Time of Triumph. And if you end up with double Thunderhide pack 1 Time of Triumph, I would really like to play Salamina's Favor. There's also an argument being made about if we are ending up splashing the green hero, that we can still put it in each lane. Now, we also see another card in this pack, and the other card is Messenger Rookery. Now, what is the thing about the Messenger Rookery? We already talked about the blue heroes and how we don't want to necessarily deploy them in the first turn, specifically not if you don't have any cheap cards, and we don't have any cheap cards yet. So if you would end up picking the Messenger Rookery, that would mean it never comes down turn 1. And if Messenger Rookery doesn't come down turn 1, well, it's actually not that strong. Because you have I always make a distinction between early game, mid game, late game. And the Messenger Rookery is specifically good if it comes early game and then it plays the entire game. Obviously, if it comes later, it loses a lot of playing strength. The next thing is that we are not even written in stone on blue yet. I mean, the remote detonation is definitely not a reason, specifically not if you splash it. The foresight is okay, but if you only splash it, well, so-so. I mean, the hero is also only okay. So what I'm saying is if we don't receive any more blue cards, we might end up with no blue. Because in red we can always add the base hero in. Now if we say we are probably not getting Sven, we could cut the combat trainings, yeah? Because at the moment we only have 2 packs for Sven, so we can probably cut those. If we are ending splashing red only, then we would also put this out. So we would end up with Bronze Legion and Time of Triumph. We talked about Time of Triumph being roughly of equivalent strength like Annihilation. We have Foresight, which is weaker than Bronze Legionnaire, but we already do have a blue hero. So at the moment we are borderline in red, borderline in blue. We are borderline in black as well, because these 4 are actually all playables, these 2 nearly being of equivalent strength of Time of Triumph. What we will definitely play is green, because we do have already a very strong green hero, and we actually also have kind of some green cards with this also. So what am I saying? Saying that we should probably pick the card which we will definitely play, like in a color which we will definitely play. Okay, never pick double Salaman's Favor because Salaman's Favor has incredibly diminishing returns. So the first one enables you to play all your big stuff earlier every turn for the entire remaining game. What does the second Salaman's Favor do? Exactly nothing. So if you draw both, and if you play both, it's like 20% chance that you draw both. That's insanely bad. So never pick two of those. We pick this. This, why not? Whatever. This. Ja, lol. Okay. Okay. Wow. I don't think we need the Steam Can. We already have enough late game. Steam Can is a good card. We could also combine it with the Favor. So if you have the Favor, but there are also gold mines in this pack. Yeah, lol. Okay. Crazy. Okay, we are at pack 4 and we are not even committed to a color or something. It's completely weird. It's really weird. Okay, I don't like the Steam Can also because I feel that we already do have 7 here. We already do have 8 here. And we don't have a black hero yet. If we get a black hero, maybe he will also come with a 7th spell. And we also have the Draw Ranger, and Steam Can is not a creep. Okay. Let's go through the cards each. So we have the Two-Sayer. The Two-Sayer is a good card. Is it comparable with the Ogre? Now, the Ogre is a card which comes, I mean, there's a red Ogre for 6 mana, and if you compare them 1-on-1, the Ogre is 7/7. So he basically plays 7/11, and the Two-Sayer plays 2/8. Whereas drawing a card is probably worth, I mean, drawing a card, as you know, in the late game is probably worth like 5-6 gold. And that's probably worth like, whatever, I don't know, like 9 damage. Might be equivalent of 9 damage if he survives. It's only if he survives, right? But usually he will survive. So that makes him around 11/8. The Ogre has, as you know, I mean, the Ogre has 7/11, maybe a little bit stronger. 7/12, if you say the Ogre Two-Sayer. I mean, he is not doing it immediately. He gets the card for the next turn, so he doesn't give you the card immediately. So, yeah, I don't know. It's probably like if you would deal 8 damage or something. So that being like a 10/8 instead of the 7/11. What I'm saying is this is very similar to the Ogre. Very similar to the Ogre. So how good is the Ogre? Well, yeah, he's good. And the Two-Sayer is also good. But we only are single, and this is also then committed in the lane. What about the Fog Mines? The Fog Mines are as good as the Two-Sayer is. Maybe they are stronger because we don't have any gold creation mechanics yet. Maybe they are on the same power level, yeah. So the gold mines are probably the same power level as this is. Steam Can, we already said Steam Can is worse than these and this, so we can opt that out. Arm the Rebellion is probably in our deck. Yeah, so this is not producing creeps. This is actually producing creeps, so maybe the Venomancer, it's actually we should play the Venomancer because the Draw Ranger is giving the Venomancer wards also +1 attack, so that makes the card Venomancer brings much better. So the Plague Wards will have not 1 attack, the Plague Wards will have 2 attack, and obviously the creep he will spawn will also have additional attack. So I believe that with the Draw Ranger the Venomancer becomes stronger. Now, if you're saying we are kind of green-blue, what would be our deploy? Well, it doesn't hurt that much to go with Draw Ranger first. Usually I would like to have her going second, but you can bring her in first. It's not an insane disadvantage. And the same goes with the Venomancer. Usually I would like him to go in second or third, but you can bring him in first. It's possible. Yeah, it's not a distinctive disadvantage if you do so. So I'm just curious at the moment whether we can waive red. Whether we can say, hey, we are not playing red. I see the Time of Triumph, and I see the Barossa Legionnaire. But I also see us liking to play blue with Foresight, Annihilation, Venomancer, which brings the creeps, which are synergetic with the Draw Ranger. I don't think we will ever play the Remote Detonation, because as it stands, well, I mean, maybe we will need to fill with it, but whatever. So, maybe we don't want to play the trebuchet. Maybe Ravenhook, if you only splash the color, is also not. Disciple is also not that great. In this setup, it's not that great because it will probably always only go into one lane. Assassin's Apprentice is fine because with the Draw Ranger, this becomes 4 attack and that's pretty good. Slay and Oglodi. So, what do we know? Well, we know we definitely are in green. We know we probably want to play blue as well. And we are not exactly decided between black and red, yeah? So what we could do is we could say, hey, we pick the neutral pick. At the moment, we only have Stonehold Cloak. So we could bring, I talked about this lane shifting effects yesterday. So you want to have one lane shifting effect in your deck, and Blink Dagger would be predestined for that. So that would be kind of a perfect. So if you pick this, well, we do have the choice. Arm the Rebellion, Iron for Goldmine, or Toosayer. I want to pick this because this doesn't commit us. This doesn't commit us into any color. So Arm the Rebellion, does that make sense? Okay, we want to have early green here because we also want to play the Wolves, because the Wolves will also synergize from the Draw Ranger. So we might even go in with the Draw Ranger first, and then we can alternate between Wool Meteor and Ramask Blessing. So that works. If we do that, we can also maybe put in the Venomancer first, because even if the Venomancer will become threatened by a hero, if the Draw Ranger plays before the Venomancer, we will be able to play with the Draw Ranger Ramask Blessing into the Venomancer lane, hence saving or rescuing the Venomancer, and that will be huge. I would also play the Ramask Blessing to save the Draw Ranger. So we can probably put these two in the early slots, and then with Ramask Blessing protect them somewhat. Okay, so that would probably work. Now if we are talking about these cards, well, Arm the Rebellion, how is that? In our deck, we do have some of these tokens, but they will probably not survive. But that's definitely an option. We will have some of those, and yeah, the rest is not that creep heavy. Now what is with the Toosayer? At the moment we don't even, I mean, we probably want to play 2 blue heroes. Boah. Okay. This is so difficult because here it basically decides whether we will brick or not, probably. Because Goldmine is also very powerful. I think it also stands and falls with the hero we will receive. So speaking of green, green has 2 common heroes, being the Trent and Lycan. We can get both of them in this pack or in the next. So if we get those, we are heavy in green. So or we will probably play also a base hero in green. So what I'm saying is we will definitely play 2 green heroes. This is something we know. So number 1, we will definitely play 2 green heroes. Yeah, okay, then we should probably pick Arm the Rebellion. Because we don't know how many heroes we will play from the other colors, but we definitely know that we will play double green hero. Waving these gold mines, my heart bleeds as well, guys. My heart definitely bleeds as well. Nein, das geht's doch nicht. Ey, oh, who passed that? Are you kidding me? Oh my god, okay. Ich krieg sie nicht mehr. Okay, I think we are ending up not playing red. Ey, oh man, hey, boah. Hey, Time of Triumph Bros. Okay. Hey, ich krieg sie echt nicht mehr. Das gibt's doch nicht. There's a Tinker. We need to pick him. This is my signature. This is the card I like most in Artifact. So, or one of. Okay, here's the Tinker, and you see that the Tinker has here this super machinery with the iron weapons and such. And this is Keenfolk. And the Keenfolk guys, they always inherited their weapons. I mean, if you ever wondered why in a fantasy world like this, why there might be these super strong iron weapons, is because the Keenfolks are always inheriting their sons with their weapons. So if he dies, he will give his son his weaponry, and the life challenge of the son will be to improve this weaponry even better. And then he will pass that to his son. Yeah. So that is the reason why these weapons, they are hundreds of ions old. Yeah, they are really, really old. And they are getting better and better. And this Tinker, he has the super laser. And laser is dealing 3 damage and disarming. And he comes with a card which is March of the Machines, which is completely crazy. This card is insane. Okay, so we are taking Tinker. We probably will skip on red. We can definitely pick the Cunning Plan. That's a good card. Lul. Lulu. Okay, is this something with a... Am I having a deja vu here? Is this a random pack? I mean... Did we just get back our pack? I think we just got back our pack, guys. Can it be? Okay, so because we didn't pick the great cards earlier. No, we will do. Yes. So what did change? Well, okay, guys, can I do this? Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, that was actually harder than I thought. Or taking out these two. Holy crap, man. Okay, so what do we know? We know we will probably play double green. We will just pick the strongest hero in the next pack, right? So if it's a black hero, we might pick the black hero if it's a strong hero. If it's a green hero, we obviously will take him. If it's a blue hero, like Luna, there's only Luna, I guess. So, okay, we will end up splashing blue. It's okay, because he produces these tokens, it's not bad, like these creeps. Foresight is also a lane over, I mean, it's not a lane overtaking ability, but you get the cards into your hand, so you can use them globally. Annihilation, I'm a little bit sad, remote detonation, and let's get this out. So we have this random annihilation, which might come and maybe it won't come, because the hero stays in the wrong lane, and is also producing these stupid Saw Venom tokens, if he is alive. So chances that we are completely behind in that lane, where we want to cast, where we have the blue hero, are not... It's not super reasonable, but at least we might be able to do that. So if you say we are probably gonna splash the blue hero, will we? I don't know. We'll probably double green, and then the question is which one of these we will double. It's either this or this. So it's very likely to double black if you do this. Forget the steam cannon, please. These are better. And we could also do that. Thing is, this is a late game hero, and 100% a late game hero. Well, it's clear, right? His stats are very weak for the early game. He will become ganked. His ability is also, the cooldown is also cooling down while he is on the bench. So we can deploy him late and the cooldown is still counting down. And we actually want to have an M5 because of the March of the Machines. So that we will always be able to play March of the Machines on 5. So this definitely comes in late. So what does that mean? Well, if I take a look at our cards, I think we might consider putting Debbie, like the base black hero, early. Now, how does Debbie compare with Tinker? Well, Debbie is 9-5. I mean, she's not 9-5, but you get the point. This is 7-5, Debbie is 9-5 in some cases. Specifically if she faces a hero. So we might really consider putting Debbie first, like the black base hero, because we also want to have access to Assassin's Apprentice, we also want to have access to Disciple of Nevermore. Keep also in mind that Assassin's Apprentice, Disciple of Nevermore, and Slay are becoming, and Oglodi Vandal are becoming much better if we play double black hero, because they are all kind of conditional. The Oglodi probably the least conditional, the other ones are. So if we definitely know that we will come up with a black early game hero, should we pick the Toothsayer? Or should we just pick the Iron for Goldmine? Because we will probably play 2 green, 2 black, and 1 blue as it stands now. Is there any reason to play double blue? I mean, not that I see it. Okay, unless we get... Okay, so the Intimidation is alright, Cunning Plan is alright. Okay, sure, that might speak for the second green hero if we get him. Come on, some... Oh, nein, Mann, warum machst du das? Und was ist denn los hier? Was ist denn los hier? Das gibt's doch nicht. Mann. Okay. 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 Oglodi, we are not in red. I know, there's some time of triumph going on here. Cool story, Bob. But, no. I mean, oh man. Okay, And don't come in with 4 color, please. I explained yesterday why 4 color sucks insanely much. So, here, the Relentless Zombie is not bad because he also gets the buff from the Draw Ranger. I don't mind Relentless Zombie anyways. I think he gives you a lot of longevity and such. Olodi Vandal also being a fine card. Let's not talk about the Samurai pack, please. We are here, and we have blue. What do we have in blue? Yeah, now we even have double Cunning Plan. I mean, with double Cunning Plan, we can also nearly always protect him. So Cunning Plans are insanely synergetic with the Venomancer as well. Bristleback as a single splash. I mean, Time of Triumph is not even that insane with single splash. Well, actually, with the Blink Dagger, Blink Dagger is extremely synergetic with Time of Triumph. You Time of Triumph, you Blink Dagger, and for the win usually. Okay, I go into the chat. Can you believe that? I mean, it's crazy, right? No, we won't play 4 color. No, we won't play rainbow, guys. Yeah. No, stop the Kappa priding. We won't go. 100% not. Okay, can we think for a second? Just here. So we have here. Okay, the Bristleback. So what is that about the Bristleback? Well, we do have not that many red cards. We do have Time of Triumph and Bros Legionnaire. So it's not many red cards. Usually Bristleback won't be able to play a spell. Okay, so that's the first thing. So if we play Bristleback, we would like to cut. We would need to cut one of these colors. It's never black. No, it's never green. And it's probably not blue. With the synergetic thing, double Cunning Plan, Foresight, Annihilation. We already have that hero. It's a no. Just a no. Time of Triumph, we cannot even extremely accelerate that because I'm not even sure whether Salamander's Favor is viable with only 1 Time of Triumph and Champion. The only thing which speaks for it is obviously the Time of Triumph into Blink Dagger combo. But let's not do it. Tyler Estate is great. Pickoff is also okay. But it's not a creep. I'm talking about the Draw Ranger and the Ramask Blessing synergy here. Yeah, forget about the Arcane Assault. We don't have really initiative demanding things besides the Annihilation. And if you play the Arcane Assault, we only have 1 blue hero. So we cannot Arcane Assault Annihilation in the next lane, if that makes sense. Some good green hero, come on. Or something, I mean, whatever hero. This is okay, right? I mean, we do have creep, synergy with a lot of stuff, so this is probably fine. 1 for me should be worse. Oh Mann, bitte, jetzt komm schon, irgendwie ein fetter grüner Creep. Komm jetzt, irgendwann, fetter Hero, komm schon. Okay, last pick, guys. Okay, jetzt kommt der fette Hero, jetzt kommt richtig sicker Hero kommt jetzt. Okay, come on. I want, probably with our luck there's X now, but whatever. So, Abaddon, okay, that's okay. I think that's fine. I mean, okay. I mean, it's okay, you know. I mean, honestly, we won't even. No, it's not okay. It's complete rubbish. I play the base hero over Abaddon if you have Draw Ranger. Because the base hero brings this armor, so we preserve the creeps and they synergize more with the Draw Ranger. Because if creeps survive, they also still stay buffed with the attack. And the second thing about the base hero is that he comes with a card, which is a creep. So Farven comes with a Prowler Vanguard, and the Prowler Vanguard is a creep, and that synergizes with this, and it also synergizes with the Ramast. Good. So, long story short, 5 women. Man, oh man, guys, save me from this nonsense, please. Okay, we talked about Debbie, right? It's okay, because at the moment we don't have any chip damage. So we can probably put in Debbie for chip damage. Muahaha, yeah. Okay. Let's take the bad cards out first. I think we can never justify this. Oh, we even have double arm, yeah. Double arm, double Ramast, so every creep. We play all 5. We have, with this, we have insane creep synergetic mechanics. With himself, we have insane creep synergetic mechanics. With the Rebel Decoy, with the Ramask, we have creep synergetic, yeah. Ramask, double arm, Drow Ranger, every keep counts 10 times as much. So how many black cards do we have? 16. 9 blue. So we will definitely stay single blue. So what is to be said about blue? When do we want to have blue in? Well, I think with double Cunning Plan, Relentless Zombie, and Better Late Than Never, we can probably just play him first. Tinker, we said, comes back on 5. So what is with the Venomancer? Again, the Venomancer should be a strong early deploy if you draw a Cunning Plan. Full stop. It's only about the Cunning Plan. So chances to draw the Cunning Plan are around 35% in the starting hand. So in 1 out of 3 cases, we will just be able to save this hero from nonsense, which is pretty cool. You might have an argument that we get him in on 4, because then we can also immediately desow Venom. Because what we definitely don't want to see is this hero comes in, the snake, I am the Venomancer, and then he becomes ganked because we didn't draw the Cunning Plan in 1/3 of our cases, and 50-50 that he dies nearly, or 45%, because the hero might not kill him immediately, but whatever. So 45% in 1/3 of the cases we will be saved, so he will be probably dead in 1/3 of the cases in total, yeah. So we deploy him in one of 3 cases, he's just dead. Now, is it a consideration to just bring him in on 4 then? Because if we bring him in on 4, we will also be able to always play his signature card. And if he dies at that, or if he dies in that turn, then we can bring him back into the Annihilation turn, if he wants to do so. I think there's a reason to be made to do this. So what about the Cunning Plans then? Well, I guess they're still alright. I mean, they can save the Venomancer, right? So that looks very weird, honestly. Have you already... Okay, so we should cut all non-creeps. But 1 Slay should be okay. So if we play Debbie... Do we even play Debbie? Yeah, we probably play 2-1, right? So if you play Debbie, we already come in with 3 chip damage spells. Pick off is is one of them. And so that means he will always try to have his heroes above 3 life. So if he always wants to have his heroes above 3 life, well, that makes pick off much worse, because suddenly we won't be able to pick off in a very effective fashion. So I think we should take the pick off out. There's also much more to that. Not only do we have triple chip damage with Debbie, so the chip damage being this one, 3 damage to a unit, we also do have access to triple March of the Machines. And the March of the Machines is also counting as 2 chip damage. So if the hero has 2 or less life, or if a creep has 2 or less life, you can just put it there, and it basically annihilates everything. What I'm simply saying is, the pick-off is just not good, because it's also not a creep, and we are extremely creep synergetic. Assassin Shadow, I feel it is a creep, but it is also a creep which comes very, very back, like very, very late. Now we could say, hey, but we don't have late game, so maybe that's okay. And yeah, maybe she is. But at the same time, we also play a lot of creeps, so that makes her weaker. And I also don't see that the creep synergetic mechanics are to be applied on her. The reason why they are not being able to be applied on her is because the buff is not that much, but the other creep buffs, these 2 and these 2, they will come earlier than this shadow. So by the time the shadow comes down, we don't have this creep synergetic mechanics any longer, and we still need to cut cards. So I think the Assassin Shadow will probably be one of those who will fall eventually. We might make a point of not playing blue at all. We could cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Seriously now, yeah? You think the deck will gain in strength if we just cut out blue? I can do the items first. How strong is blue? Venomancer in this deck is probably... as good as Farven is. I mean, the Venomancer plays 2/6, give a ward, so maybe like a 6/6. This plays like a 5/10. The signature card, he brings 4 mana, 1/3, 2/4/3s, he brings 1/0/6, which is armored. So they are nearly equivalent. What about the Cunning Plans? Are they even that great? Well, we can only do them in one lane, which makes it definitely weaker. We can save him though, but on the other hand, this is also taking a slot. The Relentless Zombie is a card which is row-bounded, so that's not exactly extremely appealing. The Better Late Than Never we would need to cut probably anyways, because we are playing the Venomancer on second, so Better Late Than Never should become much weaker. We do have a Foresight, which is alright, but it's also not the bomb. We are also row-bounded. And there is the Annihilation, but there is the Annihilation as a split hero. So we could make an argument. Does it get a little bit ridiculous now? I don't know. It looks a little bit weird, to be honest. So we would need to play Assassin's Shadows then. I think I like it more. And this is what I'm saying. Now we end up again with no blue, yeah? Such a nonsense. Okay, okay. Also, we do have Pickoff or we do have Ravenhook. Pickoff is probably in this deck a little bit stronger than Ravenhook is. Is it even? I mean, with this we can also, I mean, it's 4 attack with a Draw Ranger. What I'm simply saying is Pickoff is probably the better card. Ravenhook is the more stylish card. It's also rare. You will usually not see Ravenhook in action that often. So if we, I think we would, okay, from a strength point, I mean, usually, okay, let's put it in the vacuum. In the vacuum, Ravenhook sucks and Pickoff is good. That's the vacuum. Now, Pickoff becomes much worse because we already have 3 chip damage. It becomes quite worse because we already have 3 times March of the Machines. It becomes much worse because we have a lot of creep synergetic mechanics with the Draw Ranger and with all the green force spells. And the like with these force spells, yeah, you know, Rama's Blessing and Arm the Rebellion. And the Ravenhook becomes a little bit stronger because he reaches the magical 4 attack with the Draw Ranger if you play him against a creep. And he becomes much stronger because it's our only 6 drop. So, and style points. So, this. Now, how would you like to deploy? Tinker on the last is clear. This first with triple no accident, assassin, double fogmine is clear, I think. Okay, if he becomes ganked, we won't have access to the 3/4 drops. But we won't end up playing triple green hero early, right? Yeah, it's too important to get a gold one on 3. It's also that on 4, maybe she lives, and then we will also be able to play the 4 spell. So there's like 45% chance that she will become ganked, then we cannot, but otherwise we can. And this is also only a 4/4, this is also good for late game, right? So this would be that. So there's only one last decision to be made. And the last decision would be Draw Ranger first or Farben first. Which one should it be? So if you take an isolated look on Farben, Farben the Dreamer has 5/10. Yeah? And if you take an isolated look on Draw Ranger comes probably with 7/7? I don't know. Something like this. Keep also in mind that Draw Ranger stats are playing. Like, it's fort effect. So 4 is the magical number, guys. She has 4 attack, which means she will attack against any creep. Yeah, maybe we should jump into the action. I already explained a lot of concepts, so that will be probably too much, but I will explain the fort effect concept later. But as it stands, this has probably 7/7 here. This has 5/10, which means this deals 2 less, but for that she has also less life and might become ganked. We might also consider something like this. So what about the green cards we will have early? But there are the Martyrs, so they don't care, I guess. Well, actually they do care, because if you put it next to Farben and there's a creep, this will survive. And if this, then it won't survive. Rebel Decoy, he doesn't care. This I want to make rather later. So if you say it's mainly about the Wolves, it's probably this setup.